Take two. My name is Charles Boshell. I am the co-owner and team principal for Olympus Esports. The team has been around since 2021. I live in Birmingham, Alabama. I am 54 years old. I'm a software engineer by trade. I work for a supermarket chain, very large supermarket chain in the southeastern United States. I've been doing sim racing within iRacing since 2019 and really enjoy it. And so I think that was what we said to start with. And so we'll get to the questions.
You said something so the team is 2021.
Yep, team is 2021.
And you started 19.
Yep, started.
And you already have how many members do you have in the team?
We've got about 20 or so active drivers. So
the team is like 30 something.
Yeah. There's probably only 3 or 4 of us that really don't drive, but yeah, there's some 25, we'll say, total on the team. We actually met the core group, which is myself, Tom Benloss, the co-owner, Thomas Cope, who is our, I guess, lead driver. He's also kind of a management in training. He's been kind of learning how to kind of manage the team and things like that and help me out with things. So we all met in a series. So we did the Racing Edge series, which was on GSRC on YouTube. It was Daniel Morad's series. He was kind of the main name there, was kind of running everything. And so we were all just amateur drivers. We were all 1800 I rating or lower, including Thomas, who's now 7.1K or some crazy number like that. So Thomas and a couple other guys had started a group called Oblivion Racing. That was the team they ran under. So as we got going and we started talking to each other in the races and, getting to know each other, we started following Thomas's stream. Tom and I kind of joined in. A couple other guys kind of joined in, so that became the core of Oblivion. So probably 10 or so drivers, and most of us were running in the series. There were a couple that would come in and run special events, and that's really all they did. So, we actually entered Majors 24 as Oblivion, so the Le Mans 24-hour race, and we qualified top split in the LMP1 with just a bunch of no-name drivers and end up finishing 5th in the race. So finished 5th overall. Actually finished 1 position behind Dan's team. So they finished 4th, we finished 5th. And that's when Tom and I had the idea of starting a real racing team and our real esports team. And so we started putting things together and, doing the things that we needed to do. Started entering events with Olympus Esports, and just it's grown from there. So 22 odd, active drivers. Everything from, like I said, Thomas is 7.1K. I rarely drive anymore. I'll still do the occasional special event, but I don't do any of the competitive things that these guys do. But we've got, I think, I want to say right around 10 drivers that are 5K and higher. So, so we've got some really good talent on the team. And it was just, yeah. And so it's just been organic. We really haven't, we put out little feelers and said, hey, we're looking for drivers and stuff like that. But really we've got our drivers just from competitions. It's just people that, we've competed against that are leaving their team for whatever reason. They said, hey, you guys have an opening. So we've always got an opening. So, so we've got basically a team of 22 or so, but half of them are Porsche Cup drivers because that's all Thomas ever drives. Which is a good thing and a bad thing, because the Porsche Cup, there's a lot of really big events, but they're really high end events. there's not really that kind of grassroots, go run GT3s every other week at something. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but yeah, it's really happy. Everybody's really really nice. We don't the people who we've had to remove have been very few. We've had people leave because of better opportunities. Patrick Thompson, who drives for Apex Racing Academy, was with us before that, and we love Patrick. And if whenever he decides he's progressed as far as he can, if he doesn't make it up to the big Apex team, then he's always welcome to come back. But there's been a couple that just weren't really a good fit for whatever reason, either personality wise or but it's mainly personality. If it doesn't matter what your I rating is, we don't necessarily look for 1,500 I rated drivers. But if somebody wants to come in and learn and get better, we'll take them in. We don't care. It's fine. So we've got a few drivers, including myself, that are under 2K. But we're always out for the most part. Those guys are always out competing, and so it's fine. It's cool.
So a few things there. You said Patrick Thompson?
Patrick Thompson, yeah, for Apex Racing Academy.
Yeah. So he's not with you. So if I approach him, he's no ill blood, right?
That's correct. I mean, he's contract with Apex, so good luck.
Yeah. And I think you already touched on this, and this makes the question kind of a moot point, because there are suggestions within the team, your team, that you might be on the safe side of driving, like slow side of driving.
Oh yeah, I'll freely admit. I'll say this.
Come on.
I'll freely admit. When you get to a certain age, and the reason Thomas is as good as he is two things. He's got plenty of time to practice. I have a full-time job, so I don't always have the time to just sit in the rig and work. And the second part of that is he's young and he's an athlete.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so Thomas Cope, and we'll get his full name out there because he'll like me talking about him. Played semi-professional hockey, so he got paid to play hockey in the UK. So very very good athlete. Was on the UK national junior team. So a very very good hockey player, and I think that plays into your iRacing. I think having those what they call the fast motor skills and hand-eye coordination, that plays into it. And as you get older, those things start going away. So I will be the first one to admit that I'm probably the slowest driver on the team, to be fair. But to be fair, I'm also the least likely to wreck the car. Well, I say that. I mean, I would be one of the least likely to wreck the car. But yeah, no, it's no secret I'm not the fastest guy, but I'll also say that I think that my experience, just life experience, work experience, lends itself to being a good team manager. So
through that.
Yeah. So I think that's where my skills are, and I'm very happy to use my skills where they're needed, as opposed to getting out on the track and just racing, which my skills are not there anymore.
I'm with you, and I hope my team listens to this, because you said something very important, because I also was a former athlete, 100 and 200 meters. I did national. Yeah, so I participated in the national races and stuff like that. Again, it's not a team event, so no national team or anything, or like any Olympics.
Right.
So I still believe that I have the talent, not the talent, but I can be fast in a specific car. I like front wheel drives. I don't. Okay. For me, rear wheel drive is the devil's car.
So you're gonna stick with the TCRs.
Yes.
Okay.
Or rally games. I play rally games, but also in the rally games I play also front wheel drive. Mostly.
Gotcha.
So I still can. I know I can be fast, but I have the same issue as you. I have a job. I have a family, 2 kids, and I try to manage the team in some sorts. I think I'm failing personally to my standards. The team say I'm doing great, but whatever. So if I would have more time, because I feel that I have the fire in me. I'm not bored. If I had the time, I can stay 12 hours in the rig and practice alone. I don't give a shit.
There you go.
But I don't have 12 hours spend on the rig. So
Right.
so team, listen to what this guy said. So he knows what this is. So, well, if you're gonna admit to stuff, the questions are not well. Of course, you have to admit and be honest, but they're not fun and trash talking. So that takes
Yeah.
the edge off.
I mean, it's if the way to disarm a situation, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you can't handle criticism. So that's another life lesson. You have to be able to take yourself unseriously.
Yeah.
If you can laugh at yourself, and if you do something boneheaded, if you're the first one to say, okay, that was pretty dumb, and kind of laugh it off, then everything else is any other crap that you get from anybody else is kind of tame by comparison, right? Because you're always going to be harder on yourself.
Yeah.
So it's a serious sport. You have to really work hard to um, get better at it, but that's also you have to be able to, it's still something that's supposed to be enjoyable. If you're not enjoying it, you're not going to be successful at it.
Yes. I recently had a discussion with one of the drivers. We have a driver. He's really, really, really fast. He's like 6K, but he can be like 9K, no problem, speed wise.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as my understanding goes, he does sim racing for the competitive side.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be good.
Yep.
But it's not pure enjoyment. He doesn't like to just do laps alone. Like he does laps alone, but that's grinding for him, so it's an effort.
Right. Yep.
It's not out of pleasure. I do it out
Right.
of pleasure. If competition comes from it, great.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes this driver, he will get tired because he's grinding without pleasure for the specific competition to be competitive. So I get that point. Bobo, I'm talking about you, so we'll see about that. Did you do any real life racing or like experiences?
No, just as a fan. No, I've driven a car over the speed limit, but on the interstate. But that's pretty much it. No. Just like I said, everything has just been from a fan side, right? So I've watched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of races in all aspects. So whether that be NASCAR or road racing or Formula racing, I just enjoy the sport, and so. I don't watch as much NASCAR as I used to, but I will still sit down and watch the races, and I still enjoy going my home track. Obviously, living in Birmingham, my home track is Talladega, so it's the biggest oval on NASCAR circuit, and it's just it's an amazing day to just sit there and watch those cars going by at 200 miles an hour. It's not as much as it used to be because they've really toned the cars down. So my first race that I can remember, my parents have told me that I've been to others, but my first race I can remember I was 16 or 17 years old, and we sat in the infield at Talladega, and that was before they had added the restrictor plates to the cars. So 210 miles an hour in a 40 car draft, and you just basically had to have, as a driver, you had to be brave beyond measure because you were really on the edge. Yes, big, very big. So yeah, it's obviously they can't do that anymore because there's just too many. When you've got cars that are flying into the catch fence and tearing apart, and parts are flying into the stands and killing fans, you just can't do it, right? You have to do something different. So they've obviously slowed the cars down, but that's just one experience that I'll never forget. And it's just, it would be like, I'm trying to think of what it would be like. Maybe standing on the pit wall, or standing on the fence, as you see that F1 guys do, coming into at the end of the first lap where all the cars are still pretty close together. So maybe at Monza or something where they're just at their top speed. And they're just zipping by, and it's a really great experience. And I've been to lots of other races, and I've never been to a Formula race, so that's kind of still on the bucket list, but we'll get there eventually.
Formula One, what's your driver or team that you like?
Well, I'm American, so we'll have to root for Haas, even though they're not good. But they're still one of the 10 teams on there. So I'll still cheer for them because it's an American team. And but I really didn't get into Formula One until right at the beginning of the hybrid era. So I think Lewis Hamilton is absolutely amazing. I think Mercedes does a great job. Daniel Ricciardo, just for his personality, is always fun to just sit and listen to. And I think still has some good laps left in him before it's all said and done. So that would be the two probably that I would just kind of pick out and say, yeah.
And in NASCAR, favorite driver?
It's always been Tony Stewart. So ever since Tony Stewart came into NASCAR, I even watched him when he was in Indy. Because we are very close to the same age. So now he's retired from Indy. He's already retired from IndyCar. He's retired from NASCAR. Now he's drag racing.
I just saw a clip of him.
So now he's drag racing, and he's still winning. He's winning races in drag racing.
Yeah, I just now I like today I saw a clip Tony Stewart doing drag. He won, and they were saying that it's like the fourth generation or something like that of in Stewarts in drag racing or something. I don't know. It was a cool video anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that much history of him, but he's always been. He's just he's probably the opposite personality of me. He's probably a little more wound up, I would say. I'm a little more laid back than he is, but fantastic race car driver. It doesn't matter what he's in. Just put him in the car and he'll go. I think if you go back and look, he's probably one of the ones that could have made the jump over to Formula One had he had the opportunity. I think he's that good of a race car driver he could have had he chose to. So
I grew up with Jeff Gordon, so that's always
my grandfather's favorite driver after Cale Yarborough retired. He picked up. It was basically the options at that point in time were either Earnhardt or Gordon, and he chose Gordon. So,
and before Gordon, what I watched from like past of the history, and I forgot his name. I'm sorry. Is the guy with the cowboy hat?
Richard Petty.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I'm a truck driver, so the story that got me into Richard Petty is like, at some point, he had like a very custom truck from the whole NASCAR fleet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, cowboy on the trail or something, and I was like, oh shit, I like that. Who's that? Oh, okay, he's this guy.
There you go. Yeah, there's always something that you can just pick out, and it doesn't always have to be on the track. It could, like I said, because Ricardo, I think his personality, I think he's completely different from pretty much everybody else in Formula One. I just think his attitude is different. I think he still works hard to try and be successful. But I think that he doesn't take himself too seriously, and I think that's kind of what I like about it.
Talking about favorite people, who's your favorite member of Olympus?
Oh, there are no favorites in Olympus.
Oh,
I treat everybody the same. No. You're not doing that.
Come on, I can tell you mine. I have one. I'm serious.
Oh, no, I mean that's fine. I just know it's I mean, I've been with Thomas the longest, so he's the oldest driver as far as time in the team. So once again, he's kind of even beyond driver now. He's kind of start working into that little management role. But everybody that we've worked with has been fantastic. Lubov, Love 46 drives with us for some events. should be driving with us at Sebring this weekend. Does IVRA with us, and you just love her. She's just a fantastic person, great driver.
How do you say that?
No, you're going to make me pronounce her name. Love 46.
No. The league.
Oh, I say IVRA. It's because it's an acronym. It's
okay.
not. But I've also heard them say IVRA or IVRA.
Yeah, IVRA. Because I used to IVRA, not IVRA. I had to compute a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's so she drives that.
But
that
where's
real
she from?
world.
But she speaks Russian.
She speaks Russian. She lived in Russia because her husband is Russian, and so she lived in Moscow, and so she obviously speaks Russian. She left at the start of the war. She went back to Almaty to live near her family, which was probably a smart idea. So her husband went with her. So they're living in Almaty, and Vladimir is a great guy too.
Putin,
I don't speak. So I don't speak with him as much because he gets a little shy trying to speak English, and my Russian's not that great. So, but I'm trying to learn, believe it or not. So I am trying to at least pick up a few things.
Привет.
So, everybody says my accent's terrible, which I completely believe. My English accent's not great because you hear the Southern drawl. So
I love that accent. Like people tell me I have a Russian accent, and one of the accents that I like Russia as a culture and everything.
Yeah.
So I like Russian accent, but if other accent that I heard, and I don't know if they're different or not, but whatever southern states, Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama,
Georgia,
those
Florida.
Accents, yeah, I love those accents.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it deals with me more.
No, I like it, but I don't hear it obviously because that's the way I speak. So, but if you ever get a chance, because I know you drive trucks, if you ever get a chance to haul into Louisiana, that's completely different. That's completely different because it's got that. It has that French Creole element to it, so it's kind of Southern, but it's kind of not. And it's just it's completely all to its own. It's kind of like hearing somebody from Boston where they just don't say an R, right? So you hear them, So
I drove to Louisiana, so except the bad roads in Louisiana.
They're not great.
Yeah. One thing that I struggled is like I did understand the people, but they were like, at least in my experience, and I don't know if it's overall, they shortened the words.
Yeah.
So they're not pronouncing the whole letters or the whole word. And I'm like, what did you say? It's like, okay, sure. Okay.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's kind of Southern, but very much not. It's just completely different. It's all to its own. You won't hear it anywhere else. It's it's its own little dialect. It's kind of like you're being from Canada. It's like speaking to someone from Quebec.
Oh yeah,
right.
Got it.
Yeah. So, so they may speak English, but it's very Quebec French English.
Yeah, you have to concentrate.
Yes, you do. Exactly.
So, which part? So you said more rarely a racer, but you still race sometimes.
Yeah.
You're a manager, and you're a commentator also, as far as I know.
Yep.
Which one do you enjoy the most at this moment in time?
Which one do I enjoy more? Oh, managing. I like the commentary part, but I could give that up tomorrow. I did it, just because they said, because I was doing so. Olympus, when we first started, we had this idea that we were going to do an endurance league. So 5 race schedule, 12 and 24-hour races. And we very quickly realized that that's not what we wanted to do. because we did the, Tom was the chief steward and kind of ran the league. I did some of the stewarding, a lot of the commentary because we broadcasted on YouTube, which was fun. But obviously, you need multiple people to do that. You can't do that for 12 or 24 hours at a time. So we did have another guy that I did a lot of commentary with, who was from New York. And once COVID hit, he had to take care of family stuff. So he's, we still see him occasionally, but he's not around very much anymore. So the commentary for Apex was just, hey, we need somebody to come in and do NASCAR because we're doing the NASCAR truck series. It's like, I can do that. It's oval racing, and that's in my blood as much as anything else. And I was like, so I'll go. And I met with Lee, the guy that runs the broadcasters, talked with him, pointed him to some of the stuff I'd done. He said, yeah, we'll give you a shot. And so started doing the NASCAR stuff, which was fun. I enjoyed it. Some good times, and really enjoyed it, and picked up a lot of good things. And so they started doing some other leagues, primarily with a group called WRE Esports, and it's all based on SCCA. So it's Mazda, and they have a Sunday series. They have 2 races on Sunday, and 2 or 3 races on Tuesday night during the week. I started doing the Sunday races, and really enjoyed it. Picked up a couple of other series, doing F3, things like that, but it was just Sunday work. But I've really started enjoying the broadcasting on the WRE Esports because it's a really good group of people. The races are amazing, especially on Sunday. They have 50 car grids and spec racers, 35 plus for Formula Ford. 40-minute races, so the races are longer than the officials, have pit stops involved. Really, really good racing, and it's all the same people week in and week out, and it's a really good group of guys and lady, because we do have a lady that races with them. But a really good group, really friendly, really accepting, and they just go out and they enjoy it, and they have fun, and they race clean for the most part. So it's fun to call the races. But if I had to give one of the 2 up, I'd give the broadcasting up in a second, because I much would rather be working with my guys in the team, guys and girls, because we have both. So, so I'd much rather be doing that. It's, and I still would like to do a race here and there, but I'll pick my spots. So, when Watkins Glen comes around, I'll be out on the track. There we go.
I think I saw something that might make me stop the interview. Is that a Porsche? And it says Porsche Strabe?
It does, yeah.
Do you like Porsche?
Okay, so so one of the few leagues I will run is a group called Operation Motorsport, and so it is a group that works with.
Sorry, I was about to sneeze.
No, that's okay. No, so Operation Motorsport's a group that works with veterans, military veterans, coming out to put them with racing teams, to train them on working with racing teams. So they've got a few guys that are working in the Michelin Pilot Challenge with Core Motorsports. And so they do run an iRacing league, and I will occasionally, when I want, when I can, get in a race with them. So every year they do an auction. I do like Porsche. So every year they do an auction. So the thing that you see behind me is a sign that they auctioned off. That's Porsche Street, Porsche Strasse. The thing below that is the race poster from the 2019 Petit Le Mans, which I was at. And so that's my ticket in the corner. So it's a souvenir. Over on the wall that you can't see, there is another one that's an autographed Porsche poster from Laguna Seca, where all the drivers signed it. So Yes, I like Porsche. I drive a BMW, but I like Porsche because I can't afford a Porsche. I drive a BMW.
I also like Ferrari, but I drive a VW. So
there you go. So yeah, but if I could own a Porsche, I would buy one. I'd buy a 911 in a heartbeat and just enjoy it.
It's a VW. I'm a Ferrari fan, so I cannot agree with Porsche by any stretch of imagination.
No, I understand. Everybody has their preferences. If I wouldn't. If somebody gave me a Ferrari, I would drive it. I mean, I'm not going to turn it down. But the BMW Z4 I have is quite enough. So
okay. Sadly for me, I think. Let me think. If not 99% of my team, except me, maybe 98% of my team, all of them like Porsches. either in iRacing or in sim racing in general or in real life. And I'm like the only Ferrari guy. I'm like, why do I have this team even more?
Well, here's the thing. If I'm going to drive a GT car in iRacing, it's going to be the Mercedes. I'm comfortable with the front engine rear wheel drive car. I like the understeer. Because I started iRacing doing the oval stuff, so I'm very comfortable with the understeer. I'm comfortable with how that car handles. And so that's what I'm going to pick 99% of the time. I can't drive the Porsche. As soon as I put my foot on the brake,
car. It's okay. We can be honest. So is iRacing the best team ever?
Everything that I've seen, yeah, it is. I mean, I've driven ACC, I've driven Assetto Corsa. I've attempted to drive R Factor 2. I did not buy the new one. I did not buy
Le Mans Ultimate.
The Le Mans Ultimate. But yeah, I mean, it's as close as I'm going to get to driving a real race car. So
okay, we'll go. I don't agree. We'll go with that. Okay. I think iRacing has a lot of good things going for it. But force feedback from Air Factor 2, I personally like it a lot more. And one thing that I really dislike in iRacing, and some of my team members had some arguments against it, but is the netcode. Since all of the other platforms don't have netcode, okay, ACC has warping, so you're gonna vacuum a little bit closer, but doesn't have netcode.
Yep.
I cannot accept the argument that one of my former teammates said, "Oh, but we are racing from South Africa to America and Japan." Yeah, the other sims are doing also. Yes, much smaller scale, 100 drivers or whatever. But still, the door-to-door contact, there's no netcode. The hitbox is more raceable in the other sims.
I would agree with that, but if you're going to compare it to if you're going to compare the comparison with R Factor, if you're going to compare it to that, the drawback to R Factor is you may get kicked off the server at any point in time.
Again, I'm just talking about that specific thing.
But yes, I know. But if we're talking about the hitbox, it's pick your poison. Do you want a warp or do you want a netcode? And so
if it's between ACC warp and netcode, I'll take the warp because that will still make me more raceable to door. But anyway, that's my only gripe. And the other gripe is Force Cockpit and another. But again, iRacing, plenty of people. You can find your niche. Community is great.
And I think
now the rain is amazing.
I think that's one of the things that makes iRacing so good is because it's not just GTs. You can do everything. Right?
The TCR they didn't did them right, but again, I'm talking about. I haven't raced TCR in real life, so I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass, but in every other sim that I tried TCR, they feel completely different. So now, of course, I'm sour grapes now because I'm not as fast as I'm used to in the other sims. I'm like, bro, what's going on here? But anyway, moving on.
Right. So, no worries.
Let's talk about managing. So how do you manage the team in the sense? So I just to provide an example, I joke in the team that I kind of run the team as I'm a sentimental guy, so emotion runs to me, but also I'm kind of a communist guy. So one example is like this. We moved fully to iRacing since last year. Last year we do fully LMP2. So every special event or championship that we do is LMP2.
Mm-hmm.
The guys wanted GT3. So I said, okay, we're going to go to GT3 in 2024, but we're not 10, 11K. We don't have that huge talent.
Right.
So we're not going to go each event or each championship with a different GT3.
Right.
The whole year is only one car. And we did a vote in January, and it was Ferrari and Mercedes.
Okay.
So then I talked with some people, and I chose the Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 98% of my team is Porsche. So I said, yo, this year is only Mercedes.
It's a completely different driving style, for sure.
Yeah, I don't care what you want. Again, this is speaking about managing. I don't care what you want, but all year we're doing Mercedes. Because next year when I'll give you free choice, the Mercedes covers all the bases. Either understeer, oversteer, or corner speed, you have them all in the Mercedes, depending on what setup do you want to run.
Right.
So when you'll choose another car, Porsche, Ferrari, whatever, you'll have the basis from the Mercedes, and you'll also know the class by then. And in my mind, is like the splits that we're racing at 2, 3, 4K. The BOP will not be the most important, because again, we're racing 4K. It's going to be important, but not the most important. If we want to win our split, I think some of my drivers should make the difference. Anyway, so that's an example of how I run my team managing wise. Give me an example of yours if it's not like state secret or something.
So no big secret. So with the amount of drivers we have, we're going to have, we've got our group that runs prototypes. We've got our group that runs GT cars. So we'll use Sebring as an example. We've got, I think, 6 teams. So two or three person teams that are going to be racing. And it's basically, I give them, okay, what do you want to drive? They say, well, we want to drive prototypes. Okay, drive prototypes. Which one are you going to drive? We don't know yet. All right. So for me, BOP is irrelevant because BOP is supposed to mean that all the cars are balanced performance wise, right? So if iRacing does their job properly, then there's no advantage to picking one car over the other. So really the only advantage is what car are you comfortable with. So if you're comfortable driving the Acura, or if you're comfortable driving the Cadillac, then go drive that. So it's my biggest thing is I don't really issue orders as far as what car we're going to drive, which we're not. What I do want to do is I want to stress that we want to get the car chosen within a couple of weeks before the race. Test whatever you got to test, come up with a decision amongst the group of the cars. Everybody has to drive the same car in that team. So the drivers need to be on the same page as far as the car. And then don't get hung up on setups. So my biggest pet peeve, and we encountered this last week, is on if you've got a race on Saturday, if you're testing setups on Friday, you've done something wrong, right? That should have been, everybody should have had that set up a week prior. They should have had it tested. They should be practicing with it. If there's a last minute change, say for instance, we get thrown a curveball and the weather's going to be different, I can kind of see that. But, you can't let a setup dictate how you're going to race. You have to have the setup done. Everybody that's driving has to be comfortable with it. Everybody that's driving has to know what it does and what it doesn't do on short runs and long runs, things like that. Can you take 2 tires? Can you not take 2 tires? You have to take 4 every time. Can you double stint? All that stuff has to be worked out. If you're still tinkering with setup changes, 2 or 3 days before, once again, we've done something wrong. So I let them have enough. I'll let them have enough free reign to make the choice because in the grand scheme of things, they're the one that has to drive the car. They're the one that has to perform. There should be no reason that, if they're comfortable with the car they're driving, they can't compete at their highest level. It doesn't matter if it's not the best car on the track. If you're comfortable with it and you're comfortable with the setup that's under it and you know what the car is going to do, you can extract the time out of it. because they are supposed to be BOP to where they're equal to each other. So it basically just comes down to the talent in the car, and then whatever random thing happens during that race, right? So you're always going to have some person, some driver is going to make a mistake that you're going to have to pay the penalty for, right? So it always comes down to that. Seemingly, the key to winning a race is just not being in the wrong place at the wrong time sometimes. So yeah, I'm fine with letting them pick the car they want to drive if that's a possibility. Obviously, in leagues like IVRA, we're locked in with the Porsche. We've been running it. We've been running it all season. So now it's just a matter of, hey, let's get the setup done. Let's get it ready. Let's start practicing. That way, when we get out there, we can perform at our highest level. And if that highest level amongst our drivers means we're going to finish fourth, then we finish fourth. If that means that we've got the best car, we've got the best group of drivers, we've got a good setup that performs well, then there's no reason why we can't win the race. And it doesn't matter if there's 8K and 9K drivers out there we're competing against. And that's just it.
For me, iRating is just a number. I have Emmanuel in the team. He's like, I don't know, 3K driver, and last season was fighting 9K drivers in the championship. I don't care.
It is not necessarily a measure of your ability. It's a measure of your success, right? So yes, that means you've got some talent because you've made it to that point, but you've also been successful in your racing. And there's a lot more than how talented you are that goes into that. It could be, a good spotter that you're working with. It could be, that the guy that was leading the race made a mistake and wrecked his car. It could be that, you're at Monza and you go into turn one and half the field's dead at the end of the first lap. And that happens frequently, as we all know. So
I had an interesting discussion, I think last year with a friend of mine in iRacing, and I told him, yo, you have to understand, okay, reaching 9, 10K, 11K, great, amazing, you're clearly fast. But you have to understand that in these communities, Apex, VSR, whatever community, there are people that are extremely fast. They don't care about iRating. So there might be drivers that are 3, 4K, 5K, that in that championship, they're as fast as the 9, 10, 11K drivers. And he said, yeah, but it doesn't make sense. No, it makes perfect sense because not everyone cares about iRating or like reaching red line. They enjoy the sim racing in that community because I have racing in a community, and that's why I not force my team, but I put my team in communities, VSR, Apex, other GRL, whatever we do. Because having a community and starting to know the members that you're racing is a lot more enjoyable. You may create enemies, you create friends, whatever.
Yep.
So when you're on the track, I'm racing, that's my guy. I need to pass that guy. But when you're racing officials, it's going to take a longer span to kind of to get to know people. Well, sorry about that, kids.
That's okay. That's how that happens.
Yeah. So he still didn't understand about this community aspect, and then he joined Apex, and he didn't win instantly, and it's like, yo, I thought, yes, that's the point. They're fast guys here.
That's right. That's right.
So, but you said earlier that you had to let some people go. How do you let people go? Like go fuck yourself, or
no, no, I don't believe in burning bridges that way, but it's generally just I'm a big fan of complimenting people in public and criticizing people in private. I think that, if I'm critical of somebody, I'm going to pull them off to the side and we're going to have a discussion, me and them, on what happened, what went wrong, what we can do to fix it. Obviously, having a co-owner, I get his opinion and feedback on that as well. I will get opinions from some of the other drivers in private. But it's you still want to be there's nothing. I mean, they didn't commit murder. Let's be honest. I mean, they made mistakes. There are some mistakes that you can't really forgive. There's some things that it's you don't want that becoming a poison in your team, right?
Examples.
So it's So it could be, we had a driver who I won't name, but used very derogatory terms toward one of our other drivers on the team, and it was very bad. It was something that well, as a matter of fact, he also used that same term during a race he was in open voice chat in iRacing, and there was a streamer in the race. So that came out on the stream, and this was after we had let him go, and it's like, okay, that's the reason we let him go. As you just can't, you can't do that, because it, obviously he got I think with that one, he got a 3-month voice ban, and I think he got a 1-week suspension from racing or something like that. I know he got a voice ban for a while. So if you can't race, then why are you part of the team? So if you're getting voice bans and you're getting suspensions from iRacing for your conduct, that's not something that we need around our team. So it's just better to
to get more in depth with this, because I actually need to learn from this, because me being sentimental and emotional, I try to make everyone happy, and clearly I'm failing everywhere. Because you cannot make everyone happy.
You can't make everyone happy.
But I'm trying as hard, so I need to fix that mentality on myself. And usually I'll tell that it's still my fault when clearly it's their fault. And I fail to see this. I have team members that I believe in, and they're more mature. They're like do the same racing the same amount as me, and I should trust them more. But when you speak with that guy, girl, whatever, you go, yo, you go like direct, yo, we don't agree with this language, stuff like that. You don't represent the team good, or you go to the company wise. Oh, we have inform you that this is not accepted language. Blah blah blah. Sign the CEO.
Yeah. So we do that. We do document it, but that's internal documentation. That's not for the driver. So for that, it's basically we'll show it to them and say, hey, this is what we're putting down. This is what the problem was. We have the discussion. In this particular case, it was the second time we've had to talk to this person. And it's like, okay, this obviously, we gave you the opportunity to change. You couldn't do that. And, for me, just knowing the person and getting to know them, I feel like that was just how he was brought up, right? So a lot of it's how were you raised? So, but that being said, if you're told, hey, you can't do that while you're here, so we need to correct that, and it happens again, then eventually you have to say, okay, we've got to part ways. Good luck to you. We appreciate what you did for us while you were here, but you got to go.
So you have kind of a strike system.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in second chances. I think everybody's entitled to make a mistake. I would. That's too many fingers as far as I'm concerned.
I was counting one driver that I have. I like him very much. But I was like, well, this is a lot of chances.
Okay, if he's making the same mistake, then things might have to happen. If he's if he's learning from a mistake and he's correcting the behavior, but he's making other mistakes, then that's something you can kind of work with him a little bit on, right? So you can give him a little more leeway. But if he keeps making the same mistake over and over again, at some point in time, it's just like, okay, we got to do something else. And it's not anything the guys that we got rid of, I like. I mean, personally, I would consider them friends, but I just can't have that mentality as part of the team, because it's a net negative. What they brought to the team would not overcome all the bad stuff they were doing. So, you know,
you want the environment contracted to results. So if the environment is good, the results will come. Basically, I have the same thoughts. But if you have mega results but you're making a toxic environment, it's not worth it, because the environment will bring down the whole group.
Eventually, if you're getting really, really good results, but you've got a toxic environment, eventually people will get away from that toxic environment, and so the results will go away because of the environment they're in, right? Because people will just leave. It's like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. So, so it's just one of those that, as long as everybody is happy with the people they're racing with, then the results will improve just naturally as they become closer. Because a lot of thing is you want to work hard. As I tell everybody when they first come to the team is, everybody's nervous about their first team race. Nobody wants to be the one to wreck the car. Everybody will eventually be the one that wrecks the car. It's just part of racing, right? You don't want to, but it's going to happen. Okay, it might not happen this race. It may happen 10 races from now. But you will eventually be the person that wrecks the car. Everybody does it, and you just kind of move on from it. So it's, it's a learning opportunity. It's like, okay, that didn't work the way I expected it to. But as long as everybody is happy and willing to work, as long as everybody's happy being part of the team, they're willing to work harder to make the team better. And I think that's the key to it.
Right. And how do you handle practice? Because I have my team since 2011, right? So I have 12 years. And in the beginning, when I did Air Factor, I was like, how do you call it? I tried to be professional. Contracts, payments for wins, stuff like that. And we had, this championship is starting. I want 3 days per week practice. You tell me the days, I'll make the server, but those days you're coming. Of course, I understand the real life issues, and you might miss one practice or another. But so I had scheduled for specific championship and stuff. Now with this team, I'm expecting for them to do it naturally, but it's not working the way I want it to work as a manager, because I'm looking for environment to be nice, but I find myself still pushing for those practice sessions. So now I don't know what to do. Either go back to the schedule thing, or keep it more natural, and maybe it will come back.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I'll just say, okay, we've got this event coming up. What's a good day to put practices up? Get input from the team. Say, hey, we can come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays and practice, or come in and run on Saturdays or whatever. That's fine. I'll set the sessions up, put them out there, let them practice. It's once again, I think that goes back to if you're happy with the team, you'll work harder to be better, right? So if you've got guys that are on the team that are practicing, that like to get out and practice and get better at what they're doing, that makes the rest of the drivers want to go out there and practice along with them, get that experience, get the communication back and forth on how the car feels. How can I change my line through here? Why am I so slow? Can we change the setup a little bit to make it a little bit safer, or a little bit faster, whichever way you want to go with it. So once again, I just kind of leave it up to the team. It's kind of on them, because they know their schedules. I can't keep up with them. I barely keep up with my schedule. So I can't be expected to keep up with 20 others. So it's just basically, when you want to set them up, we'll set them up, we'll go. And, if I see that there's somebody, because we use Garage 61 and everybody's assigned into it, and if I'm seeing that drivers, if there's a driver that's not getting any practice time in, we'll go back and we'll talk to them. Hey, what's going on? We need to set up some special practices here and there, and we'll get that resolved and kind of go forward.
Right. When I first saw Olympus was in, I think, LMP2 League last season in spring. And it's a striking livery and concept. How do you come up with the logo? Like, what does it represent?
Okay, so Olympus is Mount Olympus, Greek mythology. So we started looking for special iconography involving Greek mythology, and it's like Pegasus. All right, that's pretty cool. So the color scheme, however, took us probably longer than anything, because we created our first league was going to be, we were driving the Porsche 911, maybe getting ready for IVRA, right, for the endurance league or whatever. Our first attempt at qualifying, or it might have been the GT league they were running. And so we created this paint. It was gorgeous. It was black, red, silver, had some chrome on it. Looked really good. It looked like 80% of the cars on the track.
Okay.
Right? Couldn't tell us apart from everybody else. Right? So so Tom said, you know what? What about pink? And so he started working on it. And so white base. The white base just came naturally. So you know what? Very few people were running white base cars. So we said pink, and so we started doing, because he and I both say, tinker with graphic design. So, every color has a complement. Every color has an offset. So we started looking at color patterns and things like that. We said pink. This blue looks good with it. This yellow looks good with it. So started doing the design work. We came up with our first design. It was half pink, half blue, a little bit of yellow, but on a white base. And so the front half of the car is white. Completely stands out. You know us when we're on the track. Always.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Always. There's no doubt of who we are when we get on the track. That's how you build a brand. If you're easily recognizable, then everybody knows, hey, that's Olympus. I could tell because it's a white car with pink and blue on it, right? So everything that we've done from that point forward has been following that theme. So it's been a white base. We've had people say, hey, let's do a black car. And every time the answer is no, because everybody else has a black car.
Right.
It's just how to build the brand. So that's our brand. So, you get a black car.
My only, let's say, gripe, again, your team. I'm just looking at the logo. I was like, okay, I get the Olympus and the Greek mythology, everything.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's definitely the brand. You can see that. But what I would personally do, again, not my team, is like the head of the horse needs to be more, I don't know, not angry, but more like have an armor or something, like better armor, like more racy, more angry, more something, more vicious.
So
he's like a pony for me.
The horse does have a growl. However, we started looking at the Spartan helmet, right? And about that same time, there was this big thing going around with iRacing with Spartan helmets being some kind of racist symbology. Oh. It's like, okay, we're not even going to go there. We're just going to leave that one alone. We'll stick with what we've got. We are already working on 2025, doing some livery mock-ups, doing some logo mock-ups. So,
like
we try and
update, refresh or something.
A refresh. We'll do that I think we're settled on every 2 years. We'll do a refresh and get some new stuff out there. I think we do have a special livery because we are going to be in VCO Infinity this year. So we'll have a special livery design for that. It's going to look a little different. Still be white, still be pink and blue, but it'll be a little different than what we've used to run. But once again, we're still going to stand out because that's who we are. So we, it's the pink and blue are never going to go away. We may at some point, as the trend goes to white, we may flip back to black to keep everybody guessing. But for right now, we're happy with what we got. Like I said, we'll do some new things for 2025, and but it's still Olympus, and you're still going to know we're there, so it's fine.
Our first experience again in the LMP2, and it was with Emmanuel and I think List. Not
With
Thomas
who?
Klist.
Oh, Clist. Paul PJ. Yeah,
Yes.
PJ. Yep, Paul Joseph Clist. Yep.
Yeah. So we raced him in AM LMP2s,
Yep.
and at some point, because Emmanuel, we kind of got away. He was a 2K driver, but 9K pace. So he got away
Yeah.
with being in the AM championship, and we were getting around Klist a few times, and Klist was racing with us. So of course, like the first two events were like, "What are you doing? Why are you like? We're lapping you." Or like anyway. So I said, "Well, let me look into because let's not judge this team as we do." And then I looked on the website and I started researching. And I was, oh shit, this team is no joke. This is the proper
Well,
team.
I mean, we try. I mean, we try and be. I'd say we try and be professional, even though none of us are professionals, right? So we all have the lives away from the sim. We all got we're all have jobs and families and school and everything else. But when we get out there, we want to race. And I love Paul. Paul just coming back from a break. He's in the process of getting married.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. So I think he's decided he's going to focus on LMP3, which is good because he seems like he's very, very comfortable in the car. And we always want them to be, we always want our drivers to be driving what they're comfortable with. And he really likes it. So,
why did you say that?
But he does have good pace. He's we're all prone to mistakes, and he's no different than any of the rest of us.
No, he was nice guy.
But he races, and I said, when he first joined the team, Paul is just a racer. He always wants to be on the track. It doesn't matter what it's in. It could be pedal cars, and it's like go karts, LMP3, LMP1, GTP, GT3, drive everything. He's always want to be part of it, and I love that. As a manager, I love guys that just want to be out there racing. So, but he's backed off a little bit now that he's got more family things going on. He's going to focus on LMP3. He said he may dabble with some GT4 or something like that, but he's going to stick with LMP3 for the most part, which is fine. So, drive what you like.
To finish up the managing part, what's the hardest part for you for managing wise?
Okay, I'm gonna tell him myself. So last weekend we had a race, and we had an issue during the race, and I yelled at the team, and I was not happy with, and it wasn't because of what happened on the track. It was just because of the attitude amongst the guys that were in there with me. I basically really, really got upset. And so, my biggest problem managing is the fact that I do a really good job of trying to be in control, but at a certain point, that it eventually comes out. I try not to do that in amongst the team. I'll have something else I can go do, and I can unwind and I can decompress and I can let that stress out. But this time I didn't get a chance to do that. So that's I'm not very temperamental, but it happens occasionally, and that's the one thing I try and avoid. Because once again, if I'm yelling at people, that nobody's happy about that. I'm not happy that I'm doing it. They're not happy that I'm doing it. So after the race, I apologized. It's like, that's the most unprofessional thing I think I've ever done with Olympus. And so the hardest part is not managing the race, it's managing the people, right? That's really what you're managing. You're not managing. I mean, I do spotting and I'll do fuel strats and things like that, but it's managing personalities. And so you have to know everybody's personality. You have to know what makes them tick. You have to know how to turn them around. not manipulate them, but you have to focus them in the proper direction.
Speak.
Yeah, so you have to focus them in the proper direction. So that's the hardest part, is just getting used to everybody's particular personality and what makes them run, and how to get them to focus on what you need to get them to focus on. That's the hardest part, and it's always a constant learning thing, because most people's personalities are usually pretty static. You kind of know how they are day in and day out, but then there's always those bad days when things just aren't right with the world. So you have to know that too. So you have to know when somebody's not on their game, or when somebody's not focused and they're focused on a life event or whatever that is, and you have to take care of that properly. So that's the hardest part, and it's not the team stuff is the easy part. It's the people that you have to worry about.
I agree with that 100% because again, age gap. So
yep.
So we have new generation that have a particular train of thought. Old generation have other, and also have Romania, Canada, Romania, other countries. So that's also complicated. So
yep.
I made a solution. Sadly, I cannot go physically, and this might get clipped and might get in trouble. But
oh, there we go. There we
Let's
go.
go.
There we go.
No. Like
so,
yeah. I'm a curious person, and I like to know the people.
Yep.
And sometimes that's to my detriment, because I'll let them I know he's going to some bad stuff, so I'll let them fly with some other stuff within the team, and that's kind of bad. That's but yeah, managing the people is the hardest stuff. I still struggle a little bit with making content, and I tell the team this all the time. So the way I work, because I know how I work, is like, if the team is and I care about the results, but not as much. Like, if the group is okay in Discord and they're hanging around and we're friends together, then that's my main motivation to do shit. If the Discord is empty, because as far as I know, and I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna rattle on myself also. Whenever I come into Discord, people show up, but they don't stand alone. If I'm not in Discord, nobody's in Discord, even though there's like a race server.
Right.
So that bothers me a little bit, because we don't have the group to other people to join. Like, if somebody enters Discord and do some practice, there's some other people see and join also. So for me, that's the hardest part right now. I want that core group, and we had some new guys, and they're really fast, and I like them a lot. It just doesn't. So that managing part for me is still. Still.
I can look. I'm looking at the Discord right now. There's two guys still in there. They're both streaming something. I don't know what it is, but it's. I will say this. I think that I'm realistically, I'm a pretty introverted person. I'm very happy just being by myself. Very comfortable in my own skin. I can go days without conversations with anybody. Obviously, I can't because I work, and so there's always conversation with somebody. But if I was, if I was out, I take vacations by myself. I travel, and I'm very happy just doing my own thing. And so, but I will say this: if somebody pops into Discord, it's not long before somebody else is in there. And it could be, my guess is the two guys that are in right now, they're playing PGA golf on their computer. That's just, they're not racing. They're playing golf, which is fine, because you can't always be racing. You have to be doing something else. And we'll do, I'll pop in there, and next thing you know, we're playing Wreckfest, or we're just in there playing, they'll play Call of Duty. I'll play Battlefield. And but when somebody comes in, they're very seldom ever there by themselves. There's always somebody comes in, and because there's we've got our group of friends, and people that we've known since before we were in Olympus. And so if one pops in, another pops in. Next thing you know, one of the other guys from a different group of friends pops in. because now they're all friends. And so, you know, I think we had 14 people in Discord the other day. And I think what were we doing? I think maybe just watching a race. Might have been watching F1. I don't know. We'll do watch parties and watch races. So,
that's nice,
you know, so yeah, it's really good that all the guys get along with each other and all the team members get along with each other. And we support each other and we'll race together and then we'll just go have fun together. And that's, you know, I can't ask for anything more than that as a manager.
What's the worst Ford Mustang joke that you know?
The worst what?
Ford Mustang joke.
The worst Ford Mustang joke.
You know, the Mustangs that go out from the parking lot and crash?
Uh-huh.
You don't know a joke about it?
No, I mean, you know, it's because I grew up with NASCAR. The Ford fans said Ford always stood for first on race day.
Okay.
Okay. Or the Chevy fans always said found on road dead. So that's what Ford stood for. So, you know, it's so I don't have a Mustang joke in particular, but if you're a Ford guy, if you're a Ford guy or a Chevy guy, you know pretty quick just from that.
Does your family, like whatever family you have? By the way, your son, your son's name?
Yep, Chandler.
Yo, Chandler, watch Discord, mate. I don't know, pending request there, something.
Oh, did he never get back?
No. And I try multiple also on social media. Yo, wake up! Are you not young? Are you not hip? What are you doing?
Well, I will cut him a little bit, because he does work night shift.
Okay.
So that might have had something to do with
it. Sure.
So
you give him some slack. You're his father. I'm not giving jack shit.
There you go. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Because I said your son. He just tell me all the juicy stuff and nothing. Also, you have a pretty nice tight team. Because I poked around. And we don't. Come on, ask us like a bad question. Like I want to put him in difficulty, like to be a memory. Yeah, Bogdan, no. What do you mean now? What are we doing here? What kind of pussies are you? Like, so that's good. That's good for you. Bad for me.
That's too bad.
So
I figured somebody would have said something. So
no. Well, I had I already put the two questions that I had, so it is what it is.
Okay.
So family-wise,
yep.
Relatives, do you know, except your son, I presume your son knows you're doing sim racing. What's their opinion of? Because let's say, example, in Romania, some extensions of the family will think, why are you playing games at 40, 30, 50? There's just games. So is the same there, right, or they're like more open-minded?
Oh, no. I think that I don't think my mother knows. Both my parents are still alive. I don't think my mother knows anything about it. I think if I told my dad, "Oh yeah, I'm doing racing online," he'd probably say, "Yeah, that's probably about right," because I've lived with him since I was 12 or 13, and so he knew my interest in computers and video games, because it's always hey, what happened to that $20 I gave you? Oh, I went to the arcade. So I mean, it's pumping quarters into a video game. So yeah, I don't think my daughters see it. Obviously, I've got 2 daughters. I've got 1 son, 5 grandkids, and my youngest grandson, when he comes over, always wants to drive, but not connected to the computer. He just wants to turn the wheel, right? So, my granddaughter, I do have my son's daughter comes over every other weekend, and it's seems like it's always on a race weekend. There's always a race going on, so she's very good about, at 10 years old, she's very good about managing herself. And so when granddad's got his door closed, she's doing her thing, and I'm either streaming a race for the team, doing broadcast or something like that. So that's all good. My daughters probably could care less what I do as long as I'm not causing problems for them. So yeah, it's fine.
Do you have like a vision for the team, or you just run it as it comes month by month, or there's an end goal, or like not an end goal because
Well, I mean, the end goal obviously is to be in that top rung.
so
So to
Redline,
be,
Williams, stuff like that.
yeah, Redline Williams, to get those, either by us just getting better or by people wanting to be part of the team and coming in and saying, hey, I want to race with you guys. Getting those 9 and 10K drivers, the top stars. We've raced against them. Thomas races against them in Porsche Cup and the Carrera Cup GB. So is obvious doing, just to be in that series, he's a pretty good driver. I mean, that's the top, 25 Porsche Cup drivers in Great Britain. So, to qualify is just a really good goal to get to. But I'm not going out. This team is we're run on a shoestring budget. I think I put $500 a month back to provide things for setups and things like that. Jerseys for the team members, whatever we got to do, paying for leagues, would that be a team league or an individual league? If a driver needs a car or a track to compete, get that for them, try and take care of them as much as I can. Because they're the ones that have to perform in the end, right? So if you want to go out there and perform, if you're going to run our livery, you're going to race for Olympus, we'll make sure that you got everything you need to be successful as much as we can do. But then in the end, it's really up to the driver once again to perform. So, so we'll do what we can, but yeah, we're not paying drivers. I mean, more or less. I mean, so I can't afford to pay Josh Rogers or Sebastian Job or somebody like that. I can't afford to pay them a salary to race with us. That's just not how we're going to do it.
Okay,
so
reaching on that point, so if you want to be tier 1, I presume they're like tier 1 teams that don't pay their drivers. I'm Valkyrie or stuff like that. They're top 10s.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that they're tier 1 teams that have enough sponsorship that they can get those drivers into a position where they can win prize money, right? So, would that be Porsche Super Cup or NASCAR E Series, or whatever that would be. There's once again, those are very few of those. Obviously, Rensport came out, and so they got the ESL series. And from everything I've heard, Rensport's not all that great either.
No,
but,
it's amazing.
Okay. It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. Like I said, everybody that I've talked to said that there's no big advantage to racing that, except that there's a chance that you can win some money. That's it, right? So, but as far as the simulator itself, it's not. I won't say it's not as good as ours because I don't know, but from what I've heard, that it's on the same level. There's not anything else. So, we've done a good job of building ourselves up to where I would say we're in that tier 2. So, us, you guys probably are in there somewhere or getting close. But
tier 5, maybe.
People, tier 5, no. But people like, I'm not going to think of their names at this
Effect.
point. No, Apex, I would say is a tier 1.
No, Effect
Simulations. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Valkyrie, what's the Belgian model?
Valkyrie.
There's another Belgian one. Core.
Yeah.
There are a few ones.
So, yeah, there's a few, and that's kind of that range. I think that's where we are. We're competing for the IVRA Endurance title. We're in second place in the GT3 AMs. So, nice. We were leading until last weekend, and we had issues and dropped us out of the top spot, but we've got a chance to win it in the final race at Fuji. So that'll be our first, I would say, our first really big team title. One that I would be absolutely happy with if we could win. We finished, I think we did finish second in the GT Sprint Series that Ever ran a couple of seasons ago, or last year, I think. Just had a really good battle with the overall winner in the AM class. So I thought we did a good job with that one big win. So we'll keep plugging away. VCO is, I never expect us to be in part of the VCO Infinity Series. Extremely happy. We've set the goal, there's 53 teams in there. I want to be top 20. That's where I think we should be. I don't expect us to win because, with 2 Redline teams and 2 Williams teams and 2 Apex teams, just getting in the top 10 would be amazing. But I absolutely think we were talented enough to get in the top 20. So we set our goals and we just kind of keep climbing that ladder a little bit at a time and see where we end up. And, as far as the team's concerned, I want to get us to a point to where we can say that we're at that level of the tier 1 teams. And then I want to retire. I've told them, I said, hey, I'm not going to be here forever. I'll be 55 this year. By age 60, I don't necessarily want to be managing this team. I want you guys to be running this team, and I want to come in and say, "Wow, you guys are doing a fantastic job." That's where I want to be.
Right.
But I want to get them to a point that they can. I want to get them to a point where they're successful right out of the gate. So that's where I want to try and get to.
Right. My mentality is different because I'm not going to give, again, I have this game for 12 years. I have fast people and slow people, all of them run to my team. If I have to give up my team, it's over my dead body.
I get it. I get it. No, I will be very proud of what we accomplish while I'm here, but I don't want to be, I'll love to be around the team, but I don't want to be running the day to day.
Right.
We'll leave that up to somebody else, and we'll get, like I said, I'll do my best to put them in a position to where we've got good people in charge. We've got a good team structure. We've got good drivers, and then it's just a matter of them executing and taking that next step. And so, I'm hoping that in 5 years I can just say, "All right, you guys, you got it. Have fun with it, and let's see where you go from here."
If you have inter-team battles, how do you handle them? Is like free for all or Ferrari strategy?
It is. I will say that it is. Whatever's best for the team.
Ferrari, right? Let's go.
If we're so we've got our club sport. We've got 2 Porsche Cup teams in club sport. They're P4 and P6 in the championship. We've got our last race in 2 weeks. Actually a little under 2 weeks, week and a half. So, the goal is top 3 and top 5. Right. If we have to flip the 2 cars, I don't think there's anybody that's going to be in that car that's going to say, no, I want to beat them on the track and cost them a P3. Right. So I think our team members care enough about each other that seeing a P3 and a P5 is better than seeing a P4 and a P5.
Right.
Right. So I don't think there'll be no hesitation. So, if it's just, we're in a race, say for instance, we're in Sebring and we have 2 teams in the same split that are in the same class. First team rule, don't hit each other, don't wreck each other. Other than that, best team wins, go. So.
Okay, but how do you want to handle best team wins? Because you have all the secrets within the team, so same setup, same strategy. So you have to, in my mind, how I think. So if we say free for all,
Yep.
then maybe one part of the team will say, okay, well, if it's free for all, let's us two or us three make a different strategy, and the other team doesn't know. So you kind of separate a little bit the group itself.
Well, the way we've got our Discord set up is we've set up a team channel in iRacing. So if we have two cars in the same race, I can communicate with both cars at the same time. So just
In Discord.
Yep. No, in iRacing.
Ah.
Yeah. So in iRacing. So I can communicate with both cars at the same time through the team channel. So, if it's in there in the Discord, they're in separate channels.
Yeah.
So they can't hear each other. So, they're talking amongst themselves. So if one team says, well, if we've got a chance to, not just beat our teammate, but if we've got a chance that we can further our position and get a better result, if they want to try a different strategy, that's completely up to them. Like I said, it's, for the special event stuff, yeah, it's fun to win, but it's not like I said, just don't hit your teammates, don't wreck them out, and we're fine. If you want to try offset strategy, that's okay. You can do that, because in the end, they are competing to see not that they're better than their teammates. They're competing to see how well they can do in the race. That's really the point.
True. One of my gripes about Discord is like, in the past I used TeamSpeak, and in TeamSpeak you can put the teams in different channels, but you can hear them all and you can speak wherever you want.
Yeah.
Discord? Nope.
You can't do that.
So
I mean, well, half the time Discord craps out anyway, and you can't hear anything from anybody.
Yes.
So we do have a TeamSpeak server also, and we have it there for emergencies. And so if Discord does start having drama, we'll jump over to TeamSpeak, and we've got channels set up, and everybody can go do that, and it's all good. So, but yeah, as far as like I said, if we're competing, if there's a potential victory on the line, none of my drivers are going to say, let's do something to prevent them from getting a win or from us, having having an issue on track. So, I mean, all our guys are pretty tight, because you may be racing with that guy next race. You just don't know, because we've got it set up. So, we've got a sheet. All right, which races do you want to race in that you think you'll be available for? And so then when the race comes up, it's like, okay,
you're up.
These are the people who signed up for the race, who can't make it. And they say, okay, I can't make it this because I've got something else going on. So now I've got my list, and then I'll say, okay, I'm going to put these two together. I'm going to put these two together. I'm going to put these three together. And, because we've always got some new drivers coming in, we try and put some of the new drivers with some of the older drivers. We try and keep the I ratings fairly close, because I think it's a detriment if you've got a 5K driver and a 2K driver in the same car. It puts a lot of pressure on that 2K driver to perform. A lot of pressure. And you don't want to put them out there with 4K drivers a lot. So, we do try and set it up.
You said about 4 things that my team will clip and tell, yo, Bogdan, do this.
I mean, it's true though. There's two sides of that, right? So if you've got a 5K driver and a 2K driver together, the 5K driver should be able to go out and get a lead, right? Right? Should be able to go out, because he's going to be probably the highest rated guy in the sim in that split. But then you got a 2K driver that's got to hold that lead, and he's going to have 4K drivers trying to track him down constantly. And so it's is not necessarily the best thing for the psyche of a 2K driver to get out there and say, hey, I need you to hold this 30-second lead. For the next double that you're about to run. It's difficult.
I have a counter argument. So you did military. Does military teach you slow, or like, yo, jump in the water, figure it out later, let's go? So
okay, so military does put you in positions that you're not used to being in. They do it safely, though, right? So
it's sim racing. How much more safe do you want?
Yeah, yeah, but I'm saying is, you know, so the sim racing is the event,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
All the military training is preparation for the event. So yeah, I mean, it's good to put a driver over his head
A little bit.
to see how he's going to perform a little bit. As a little bit, there's nothing wrong with that. But as a general rule, you don't want to do that because the other side of that is the 5K driver doesn't get anything out of it, right? He's just out there cruising.
So here's my train of thought. So because I like the environment and like us to be friends, I want each member of the team at some point to race an event with a member that he didn't race. So that's why I don't care about my rating. If it's 6K with 2K, I don't give a shit. You're gonna do an event, smaller event, I don't give a shit. You're a championship. You're gonna do something with that guy, so you connect better together, so the team is better overall. I'm not gonna do it a rule like we should. Usually, I try to make it iRacing, like you said, but I sometimes, again, communist, I'll say, yo, you see, you're 6K, yeah, you're gonna race with a 2K guy. I don't give a shit what you want. This is my team.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
You know what? My team, they find these little charity races to do, and they'll all jump together. They don't care. And for a charity event, that's fine. If they want to go run NEC Nürburgring, they want to go run one of the 4-hour races, and it's a 5K guy and a 2K guy. That's irrelevant because it's Nürburgring, right? So even the 8K guys are struggling on Nürburgring, so it doesn't matter. Because I've seen 2K guys at Nürburgring that are really, really fast because that's all they ever drive. It's very similar to what we were talking about earlier with the communities within iRacing, right? So the Nürburgring is its own separate community because that's all those guys. That's all they want to drive is just that track. It doesn't matter really what car. It's just, is it on Nürburgring? Yeah, I'll go Radicals. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's okay. So it's very similar to the broadcast that I do. It's Spec Racer and Formula Ford, very tight knit communities.
That is shit. I'm sorry for that community, but that is horrible.
Which one?
The Ford Spec, whatever.
Formula?
No, yeah, whatever.
Spec Racer? Yeah.
What the hell?
Hey, well, the good thing about this is the reason they do this is because they're actually guys that drive the Spec Racer for
I know.
They use the sim for training. So it's good that you can get those people because now you're talking with guys that are actually, or people that are actually going out racing this car for real. So they can tell you, yeah. As a matter of fact, I did an interview a couple of weeks ago with one of the guys who drove Formula Ford in real life, a young kid, and just blistered the competition in the esports side because he knows the car. And I said, so we asked how close is this to the to the real thing. He said he's just close enough that I just get out. If it's a track that I've never raced on, I'll go run iRacing just to get a feel for what the track's going to be like.
Yeah, okay.
He said it's close enough that I can equate it to what I'm driving. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Tell us a secret that most people don't know about you. So I killed this many people.
I don't think a lot of people know that I was actually in the military. So, because I don't think my personality shows me as being in the military. But I don't know. It's I'm trying to think of
sim racing doesn't have to be real life.
No. I mean, no. It's
your BMW is pink.
I mean, it's my BMW is black.
Okay.
If I could find it in pink, I probably would have bought it. But no. No. I mean, I don't know. It's I don't really. I say I do a lot of traveling, and I do, but I think I tell most people about it anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal. I've been to like 7 or 8 countries, half the states in the U.S.
So I have something up on you. I have.
Yeah, you probably, being a truck driver, you've probably been to all of them or very close.
Except Alaska and Hawaii and stuff like that. All of the inland states, done.
Mm-hmm. There you go. I've been to, I have been to Ottawa before. That's my only trip into Canada. Was Ottawa, and then back through Niagara Falls. So it's nice up there. It's cold.
I don't care.
When you're well, it's a different thing, right? I've lived in Alabama my entire life. So when you leave here and it's 90 degrees and you get up there and it's 65, it's a big difference. And especially if it's in June.
I remember I went to Florida and Alabama, Tennessee in the summer, and this is Arizona, which I presume is hotter.
Hotter but drier.
Yeah. So I went to Arizona.
Yeah.
And I had like 48 Celsius in the shade.
Yeah, that's about right.
So I was like sitting outside because I wasn't allowed in the truck. Just sitting and breathing, and I was sweating. I was like, "What is going on here? I'm dying." And then with Florida and I presume Alabama, but Alabama had more trees, so I didn't feel it as much. But with Florida, the humidity, it's like
horrible.
After half a day, I feel like, what the fuck? I need a shower. What's going on here? Like,
Yep. That's the difference. I think I've got you beat. I won't say I've got you beat, but when I was in the military, I was in Saudi Arabia, and the last day we were there, it was 52 Celsius, and it was horrible.
And you had to wear gear and stuff because I was in t-shirts and pants.
Yeah, and all the gear. Because we were. Yeah, so 20 kilograms of backpack and weapons and ammo and all that good stuff. So yeah, it was great.
Good experience.
Yeah, it was a good experience.
Let's start with the bad. What's one regret that we have, like in sim racing? Like, I don't know, you made a bad management choice or like a bad race or whatever. One regret, if you have regrets.
Well, obviously we just talked about the yelling at the team. But no, I mean, when I first started, I think that, I like to say I wished I could have started it sooner, but obviously, it's not been around, 12, 13, 14 years, something like that. So, I wish I could have got in it at its early part. Because that would have been fun. It would have been fun kind of growing with iRacing. I might be a better driver because of it. But no, I don't really have any regrets as far as sim racing is concerned. Other than, like I said, I'm not. I think I'm a good manager. I don't know that I'm the best manager, but I have my style, and that's what I try and stick to. And when I step out of that style is generally when I get myself in trouble.
Right. Okay.
So it's
okay. So now we go with positive. What's your best memory? Like by either commentator, like either a race or a win or whatever, a best memory sim racing related.
Oh, I mean, there's a couple. So winning. So getting that top 5 at Le Mans and majors.
That's a big one.
Working with Thomas, and spotting for him strategy. He won the majors Daytona 500. Pretty elite field of guys. Yeah. Yes, he has. So
good job, Thomas.
That was a big moment. That's probably that's one of those wins that he gets to claim, and then the team gets to claim also. So it's like so that's a big deal. I think there's still lots of good ones to come. I think that's what I'm really waiting on. I think we're at the edge of coming up with something really, really good, and I'm waiting for it, and I'm hoping that it gets here pretty soon.
How do you celebrate wins or victories or good stuff like within the team? like for me, example, I yell my lungs out. Like I get so hyped, I get so much adrenaline when we have like a good result that we care about.
Lots of screaming.
By the way, team, I haven't had one in a while. You?
Lots of yelling and screaming. Once again, lots of praise because, like I said, it's the drivers that make the difference, and they're the ones that's doing the work. If I can help them out. I'll give you another one. We just had one of our female drivers, Nina, from Germany, entered a league. And it's the Screen to Speed League, and it's just for women racers. She ended up winning the league.
Oh, nice.
She ended up getting invited to a NASCAR Invitational with those. And so they ran Phoenix, the Oval, in a NASCAR. I made a strategy call that I didn't think was going to work out as we were getting closer to the end. I thought we had a good strategy, but then it just stopped paying off. But then we had a late race caution. She came in, and then we had a green-white checker, and she took the win in that as well.
Nice.
From P5. Starting off at P5, made a great jump on the at the start. And did all the work to get all the credit. So, but it's a big thing, because she works really hard, and she's one of our, I'd say, professional drivers.
Right.
As she has her, she did Formula Student in Germany, and so she's got a background in aerodynamics. So she's always good to get information from. So yeah, that's. I
was just about to ask you if you get up because you like oval racing. I like oval racing. I do oval racing. I did the Daytona 500. But I get a lot of shit for it.
I mean, it's because it's a very American thing, right? It's it's so yeah, it's if you're in a group with a lot of Europeans, you'll probably get a lot of crap. So if you're if you're like me and I live here in America and this is just part of the culture, so it's like, okay, that's not really that big a deal. It's kind of like IndyCar is kind of that hybrid, right?
Yeah.
So you've got an open cockpit car, but there's still a lot of ovals being raced on. But everybody wants to win the Indy 500. So so everybody, the Europeans and everybody else, they're out there when it's Indy 500 time. They're out there competing in the Indy 500 because they want to win it because it's prestigious.
Do you get a lot of Alabama jokes?
Oh yeah. I mean, no, it's it's not a lot less of the Alabama jokes, but the accent is like, okay, it's redneck and hillbilly.
I just remember the Top Gear episode with the gay. I hate NASCAR, or NASCAR is trash. You see?
Yeah, NASCAR's trash. Yeah, Hillary for president. I mean, that's a part of Alabama I don't even go to. I mean, so that's very south of Alabama. That was, I'm fairly familiar with that route that they took. So they were off of Interstate 10, so which runs down the coast of Florida through Alabama, Mississippi into Louisiana to New Orleans. That's what they were doing, Miami to New Orleans, I believe it was the trip. So they were off of the interstate somewhere in the backwoods of Alabama in the Mobile area. So yeah, very swampy, very swampy. So yeah, that's not a place I would want to go to either, just to be fair. So I mean, if you're not driving a pickup truck, you're probably doing something wrong, to be fair.
Well, I can say same here about Canada. Like in Vancouver area, story, whatever, it's good. But as soon as you go into the mountains and they see you with a small sedan or something, they're like, "What you doing? Where's your pickup?"
Yeah, you're not staying here. Yeah. You're not staying here because it's one of those things. It's a way of life. Oh, it's a necessity, right? So if you live in that, if you live up in the mountains of Canada, your little VW is not going to last long.
Through that, we're getting to the end, so we have a few more things. Do you have so as any professional driver, or commentator or manager, you have to have your excuse dictionary of excuses.
Right.
Which are the top one that you use, or your best ones, or like what lines are you using when as an excuse for something that you did or did not do?
It's probably I will say this. I don't pass the buck as far as excuses. If I made a mistake, I'll own up to it. But skill issue is always a big one. Put the wrong setup on. Overcooked. It's just there's always these little excuses that you use. As a manager, there's not really a lot of excuses you can use.
I can
right?
teach you a lot. Don't worry.
They set the session up wrong, or
I have a quick fire round.
Oh, okay.
So I have lots of questions. You answer whatever comes to your head.
Okay.
Watch out, because there's some doozies there.
Okay. All right.
And we will have, let's say, 7:56, about 1 minute, 56 now. Okay. Texting or calling?
Calling.
Favorite day of the week?
Sunday.
Favorite city in US beside the one you live in?
Nashville.
Nickname your parents used to call you?
Charlie.
Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to speak with animals?
Speak every language in the world.
Scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you? Well,
2.
Fill in the blank. Thomas Cope is?
A pain in my ass.
At what age do you want to retire? Well,
yeah, 65 would be great.
Jeff Gordon or Travis Pastrana?
Pastrana.
Do you snore?
Yes.
Place you most want to travel, country, whatever.
Budapest.
Very good choice. Favorite junk food?
Anything that's chocolate.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna change that. Ice cream. I love ice cream.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Let's go. Last Halloween costume.
Oh God. Jason from the Friday the 13th movies.
Okay. Have you worn socks with sandals?
No.
Do you want to?
No. My daughters won't allow it. They've already told me no.
Oh, okay. That's it. I think it has been a minute, so yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, it's
Yes. So for the last thing, Top Gear or like other podcasts, I'm trying to make a data set of ranking of playing a game. Sounds like, what can we do? I wanted to go for a typing test. I don't know if you watch MKBHD, the YouTuber, the one that with the phones and everything. Anyway, he has a typing test for his guests. But I did a typing test and I did 60 words per minute, and that's horrible. I was like, well, no, because I'm gonna be dead last on that. So I don't want to be dead last. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do the reaction because maybe I have a better chance. Because even if I'm maybe medium now, I'll cheat my way up to the top. I'll just press again and again. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you can just keep taking it till you get it right. So that's right.
It's my leaderboard, so I can do whatever I want with it. So anyway, you have to do it 5 times, and then it will give you an average. I'll shut up now.
All right. Here we go. Let's see. Sign up or log in.
You can do it without.
All right. So get started. When the red box turns green, click as quickly as you can. Click anywhere to start. All right. There we go.
So you have a result? What is it? You're going to send me the screenshot, but what is it now?
I'll screenshot it, but it was 225 milliseconds.
Oh, shit. I'm 223. Well, I have a surprise for you.
My fastest one, I believe, was 185, but I think most of them are in the
I have one in 190s, I think. I don't remember one of your drivers gave me, and he's 280 something. I want to say.
Wow, is that who do I need to fire?
Oh, I'm not gonna say the. Well, you see, I'm not gonna say, but at the end of the video, I'll post the leaderboard, so his name will be there. So sorry. But I think Thomas didn't give me an answer, so he's out. Yeah, he got away. Anyway.
Okay, slightly above average, 52.8%.
Yeah.
Okay, I can take that.
So very, very knowledgeable and insightful couple, almost 2 hours. I really loved it. I remember why I like meeting people on sim racing, because I love sim racing. So I'm a little bit disappointed that you say in 5 years you want to go. I'm like, he's not a diehard.
It's not that I don't want to be around them, but at some point you have to let them go and do their own thing. So I'm hoping, like I said, I can get them to a good spot so they can just continue to get a little.
If I go by your strategy, I'm gonna turn 40 this year, so I still have 20 years to go. So we're good.
There you go. You have plenty of time. Anytime you'll be the apex predator of iRacing by the time it's all over. Walk racing.
So
you won't be walking. You'll be running at that point.
I want to officially thank you for loaning the drivers. As I told you in private, I kind of hesitate to do that. I don't know. I'm more jealous of my nature, but also we didn't have any requests like, yo, I need a driver, so because we're more smaller. So if I have a request, probably I will all indulge that request, because I had drivers that I booked. I want to race that and that, and I was like willing. But
as a matter of fact, I may have something. I may have to take you up on that. We'll have to see though.
Okay.
So anyway, no, it's because we have Lubov, right? Her being a full-time streamer, former professional racer, or she will say still professional racer. She gets, she comes to race with us when she wants to, and then she goes and does other things with other teams,
right?
And that's fine. And so I give all my drivers, I mean, no, it's she was one of the first people. She was one of the first people that we asked outside the team to join, and she was the first person to say yes. So because of that, we get a lot of publicity because of Lubov, right? Because she's always streaming her races with us, and we appreciate it, and we love Lou. She's amazing. So if she has something she wants to go do with somebody else, she has that opportunity, because realistically, she's the only person that has sponsorship, right? So she has, sponsorship with Next Level Racing and with Thrustmaster. So she gets all these opportunities. And when she has an opportunity to bring somebody along, she'll normally ask Thomas to join in with her. That's how we got to do VCO Infinity the first time. It was under her team, but, we were part of it. So I can't, if one of the other guys wants to go say, hey, I want to go run with these guys, that's fine. I don't care. I said, if you want to leave the team, that's really up to you. If you want to, if you want to go race with another team because we're not doing an event or they have an opportunity, I can't tell them no. So, because that wouldn't be right. So
as manager to manager,
so
I'll tell you an easier solution to get famous. Watch this. We are already famous in 2 events, Daytona and Bathurst. So you got Bathurst. You make sure you're in Matt Malone to stream. Lap 1, T2, you destroy half the field, including Matt Malone. Done.
Oh,
he will mention the team name and everything. We good.
That is not the kind of fame I really want for our team.
Publicity. What does it matter now?
That's true. That is the old saying, right? All press is good press. But I think we've had our share of that. I think we have taken out. I don't think it was Matt, but I think we took out. Maybe we took out Quirk in another race at some other point in time. So I don't know. But either way, it's but obviously that is a way to get some attention, but that's not necessarily the attention that you want.
But if you get it, you might enjoy it. You might as well enjoy it.
That's true. You may have a few extra people come in and say, "Hey, I want to see the replay of this." And see
we hate Matt also. Let me join the team.
There you go.
Charles, awesome. We'll speak more in privately. Thank you very much. This was a blast.
All right, Bogdan. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. No, this was fun. I enjoyed it.
I hope I didn't upset you with my I don't know, bad jokes or something.
No, everything was good. Everything was fine, man. Awesome. Everything was awesome.
And I hope we don't see each other on the track. And if we do, I hope we win. So.
Well, I hope if we do, it's not at Bathurst.
True that.
So.
Good one. Thank you very much, and we'll speak more. Bye-bye.
All right.